embraced the horror. And so it's like serial killer. Man, it's dark. First episode, I was so surprised at how dark they were willing to go. Like Scream dark, right? And so it sets up, something goes wrong at the beginning, and then that first episode, and then episode 2 is like the repercussions. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legends, and Scream all kind of rolled into one. And then they're basically trying to figure out who's after them, who's killing them off. And it's really horror. Like, it's a horror series. And I was like, dang, this is really good. I didn't expect to like this. I still want you all to die because there's a lot of teenage angst in this. And I have I have the kids I'm kind of rooting for that are half decent human beings. But the rest of you, I can't wait to see what the killer does with you. Hi and welcome back to the best thing you watched this week. It's been a couple of weeks, well, for us it's been a couple of weeks, but we've had content out. Thank you so much for joining us. I still feel like I need to be in Venice. I tried wearing my hat, but it doesn't go over my headphones, so that doesn't really work. But I brought it back with me, so you can see I totally embraced the lifestyle of Italy. But I'm excited to be back because it's given me a break. I have watched a plethora of content. I'm sure you have as well, Chris. Yep. So if this is a 9-hour talk, just bear with us because we got a lot to talk about. We will try and keep it entertaining as always. We will go off on tangents as always. I think we're going to have some differing opinions, which I think makes it fun. Yeah. Chris, how's your few weeks been, content-wise, health-wise? Do you want to share with us your most intimate personal details to the YouTubes? Maybe don't.
Well, yeah. So I've been having this pain down in my gut area.
I said don't.
No. Oh, don't. Oh, okay. Oh no, it's been a good couple of weeks. The watching has been mixed. There has definitely been some poo. There have been some really awesome things as well. So I am excited to just chat and catch up and figure out what we all watched. Yeah,
nice. Before we get into what we normally do, I should just remind everybody that we have our podcast and Patreon. Our podcast will be entertainment, news, and what we're looking forward to coming, and anything else that we just missed out that perhaps we want to put into the podcast. That'll be at the end. If you're listening to the audio version of this, that'll be at the end of this kind of YouTube version. If you want to listen to the extra content that we have exclusively for audio podcast, then wherever you listen to podcasts, that's where we are at. And then our Patreon this week, because DC have been in the news so much, there is actually a lot to talk about. So we're going to talk about what's going on with DC. I think Chris has gathered some news. I've gathered some of my sources, and we're going to have some interesting tidbits there to talk about. Especially the last couple of days has been some really weird news from DC. So we're going to talk about that. So if you want to join and support us, hopefully we have something that you will find in the Patreon bit entertaining. I think you will, because we have over 40 videos there now. So, there's a lot of content. And that's all, like, if you want to join the $4.99 subscription service, you'll get them all. So you'll have a lot. So you will have a lot. Bang for your buck, as they say. I don't know who says it, but they says it. Should we get into who won the competition, Chris?
Yes. Okay, so you got to bear with us because we have 3 weeks to get through since we have been... anyway. Yes, Ruben ran away, and so there you go.
Brave Sir Ruben. My wife always says that to me. She quotes Monty Python, but she puts my name. Brave Sir Ruben, who bravely ran away. Nice. I don't think it's nice. It's not very friendly, is it?
Well, no, it is funny, though. So.
But when there's a spider, it is true. And she rescues me.
Dude, have I told you how I broke my leg or my foot from a spider?
Did you actually?
Have I told you?
Have I
ever told you that story? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's have story time.
Okay. So, I don't like spiders at all.
No, I totally understand
years and years ago, before my wife and I got married, we were sitting down in my parents' living room, and we were literally just filling out the invitations, addressing all the things. And I was sitting cross-legged on the floor. And this spider walked across my leg. Now, if you ask my wife, my parents, anybody who it was not walking on, they will tell you the spider is like this big, just really, really, really tiny.
I don't believe it. Yeah.
It was the size of a quarter. Okay,
Yeah,
and it was on my freaking leg. So I'm sitting cross-legged, and so I literally just jumped straight up. And when I came down, my foot went, and I broke the toe, the bone that connects to my toe in there. Yeah, and so we're a couple of months out from the wedding, luckily, but I'm walking around for the next 6 weeks with a cast on.
Did you burn the house down afterwards, Chris? That's what I need to know.
No, I couldn't even find it because it hurt so bad. Like I stood up, and like after I did that, I stood up and I was like, oh my gosh, that really hurts. And all of my coworkers, when they found out, they started calling me Spider-Man. They got me keychains.
Brilliant.
That said Spider-Man on them.
Thanks, coworkers.
Yeah, I appreciate the compassion. That's outstanding.
Nice.
It was,
yes, you can always trust your coworkers to fulfill the needs of the world with that sort of thing.
To be totally nice and supportive there. Yes. Goodness. Okay. Yeah. So I hate spiders, and I should have burned the house down because that's really the only appropriate way to.
Well, I have numerous spider stories. We'll save that one of them for next week. Movie quotes? Who won them?
Yeah.
Chris.
Okay, so let's see. June 17th. That's how far we're going back. So right. June 17th, the answers were Gone in 60 Seconds, South Park, and The Fifth Element. So nice. On mine, it was Elijah Talbot, who the first correct answer there. So congratulations, Elijah. That's awesome. On the 24th, this isn't the one. Okay, so Psycho, which I got that one. Proud of myself there. Nice. The Thing from 1982, which I love the movie. I did not get the quote, though. And then The Conjuring. That was your final quote there.
Yeah, that was a tricky one.
It was. Well, both Vera Morris and Nostromo, they got the first two right.
Right.
But you were so good with The Conjuring, nobody got it.
Nice.
So good on you for stumping the internet. That is outstanding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay. And so last week's, the 31st of June, Dumb and Dumber, Training Day, and Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
And so we have two winners. Vera Morris got it right. And actually, I had a couple more on mine that also guessed it correctly, but Vera was the first one on my video to guess correctly. And you had at least one also right.
I had one person, FYCS60. Interesting start to your name, but Ryan Ravi Patel. Perhaps you'll have to tell us what the intro means. But yeah, got all three right.
Nice.
So congratulations. That is good work, guys. You guys are really knowledgeable. You guys are excellent. You should be doing this. Make up a movie quiz for us. Maybe give us your own movie quizzes in the comments and see if Chris and I can get them without looking at Google, because that could be fun for us.
I love that idea. That's a great idea, Ruben.
Yeah. And talking about movie quizzes, there's a game called the Movie Misquote game, which I've acquired in preparation for these movie quotes. And rather than me just pulling off random ones, I thought I would work smart, not harder. And so now I have a bunch of cards. There's a few with the full quotes in them, but they're also just a few words from the quotes as a trick to see how good you are. Now, I'm still going to do my three, but this kind of comes down to you, Chris, because will you be able to get the quote? And if you do, we will keep that one. If you don't, I will give you an extra chance by saying the full quotes out. And if you get that, then we'll keep it. If not, I'll move on until we've got three. We could be here for 3 hours. But I think you're fairly knowledgeable.
Well, yeah, no pressure.
So you don't say it, but if you know it, we'll move on.
But if I know it, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that would be. What was that movie where they're testing somebody? Oh, it was like how many fingers I'm holding up. What movie is that? It is it Tom Cruise? It with a woman that has these. My Cousin Vinny.
Okay.
Where, he asks her how many, and the judge is like, "Let the record state that he's holding up 3 fingers." Seriously, Judge?
Nice.
So I will not say the answer out loud.
Yeah,
Okay.
please don't say the answer out loud. All right, let's do this, people. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Okay. 3 words for the first one.
Okay.
Robin Williams' knuckles?
No.
Okay, full quote. Your face looks like Robin Williams' knuckles?
Still no.
Okay.
What?
I guess I'll give the answer as we're not going to use it. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is from Knocked Up, and it was Ben Stone that said it.
Oh,
2007.
that's. Do you know Do you know when I saw that movie?
In 2007?
Yeah. Do you know the last time I saw that movie?
In 2007.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. This one is easier. I hope you've seen this movie
Says
because
Ruben.
if you haven't, then we need to rectify this. Okay.
Okay.
Chew bubblegum and kick ass. You got it.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I don't even need to do the full quote. Nice.
No,
I thought you
that's
might know that one. It's such a great film.
Yeah.
It still holds up today, even though it's old. Yeah.
It's been a little while since I've seen it. My kids watched it within the last 2 or 3 years.
Nice.
And we, funny enough, we were literally like a week ago quoting that portion of it too.
Nice. Okay.
I don't know why, but
Okay, cool. This is a great one. I'll try and do a little voice. Great ass.
no.
Okay, I'll do the full quote. 'Cause she's got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it. 'Cause she's got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it. I'm trying to loam. It's a really unique voice. 'Cause she's got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it. There's no laughing at it. I'm just giggling as I'm saying it.
No, I don't.
No? You're gonna kick yourself.
It reminds me of a different quote, but
Okay.
no, I don't know this one.
All right. I guess I'll say the movie. This
Yeah.
is Heat. Vincent Hanna. Yeah. You can hear it now. You can see him saying it,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's tricky when out of context. Okay, moving on. I think you'll get this one. I'm pretty sure you'll get this one. No pressure, Chris.
Yeah.
A 7.5 foot long 40. Wait, let me try again. A 7.5 foot long 54-inch wide gorilla. Would you like the full quote?
Yes, please.
Are you saying that you put an abnormal brain into a 7.5 foot long 54-inch wide gorilla?
Yes. See, if you would have started just with that first part, that's all I needed.
That's why it's the movie misquote game, because it's out of context. Okay, so you got this. Okay, good, cool. Nice.
I love that movie. So
Yes,
classic.
I know you do. Okay, ready for the third one.
Yes.
Lewd, crude, rude bag of pre-chewed food, dude.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
That's actually the full quote.
That's a full quote?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, that is Hook. Peter Banning.
Oh, yes. Bangarang!
Bangarang! Yeah. All right. This will be interesting to see if you get this one. Okay. Varmint Poontang. Okay. I smell varmint poontang, and the only good varmint poontang is a dead varmint poontang, I think.
I think I know that one.
You want me to keep it,
But I'm
or
not-
you're not sure?
Can I look it up really quick?
Sure. Because then you'll know if you're right or not. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, nope, I was wrong.
Okay. So that's from Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Okay. You might get this one. People who... No, I was giving you the full quote. That's just how about shampoo my crotch?
No.
People who talk in metaphors ought to shampoo my crotch. Well, more grumpy, way more grumpy. People who talk in metaphors ought to shampoo my crotch. You're not getting this one. Okay,
No,
that's
I'm
as good as it gets.
Apparently, I'm terrible. As good as dude, I haven't seen that in like I think when it first came out. Also,
All right. I got a voice for you. I think this will help. A snowblower. A snowblower. If I say the full quote, you'll definitely get it, I think. You think you got it?
Yeah,
No?
it.
Okay.
No. Mm-mm.
Hey, laser lips, your mama was a snowblower. Hey, laser lips, your mama was a snowblower. Hey, laser lips, your mama was a snowblower. No?
No.
Oh my gosh, a short circuit. That's number 5.
Dude, yeah, no. See, these movies that I've seen like twice from...
That used to be one of my favorite films, Short Circuit, in the 80s.
What is that, 1984? 5?
86, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that outside of the 80s.
Okay, I've gotten one here that is much easier because it was a backup.
Says you.
I thought, like, how long can we keep this going? Okay. Cotton-headed ninny-mungans? Cotton-headed ninny-mungans? Mungans? You got it?
Nice. Yes.
Okay.
I like
so
that.
I don't even need to do a full quote for
No.
that. Okay. We got the 3. Y'all. Thanks for sticking with us on which is now just the movie quiz podcast. Oh, that was interesting.
Oh, goodness. Well, if you enjoyed the back and forth like that, Ruben and I did do a Patreon video where we quizzed each other. And some of them we both get, and other ones we absolutely stumped each other, which was, I think, a lot of fun. But anyway, that just in case you're interested.
I got a bonus one here. Not that you have to guess it. I'll just tell everybody what it is. See if you can guess it. 5 weirdos dressed in togas. I'll do the full. When I see 5 weirdos dressed in togas stabbing a guy in the middle of a park in full view of 100 people, I shoot the bastards.
See, I should know that one. Mm-hmm.
It's old as well. It's 1986. It's The Naked Gun. Yeah.
Oh.
Which is,
again,
now you can hear him saying it. But again, probably not one you've seen in, like, since 1986.
20 years. Yeah, exactly. Oh, but see, some of these, it's just worth a rewatch now because it's been forever in a day.
For so long, yeah.
Yes. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I got a question, if I may.
Sure.
Okay. If everybody was mentally incapable of lying, how do you think that would change the world?
I think there'd be a lot less of us. I think there'd be far fewer people.
I agree with that.
I actually think lying is a good thing. And I know that's controversial. But sometimes when your wife is having a bad day and she says, how do I look? And that particular dress might not look good on her. Or your best friend is having a bad day. And he's like, that was good, right? And you don't think it was that good, but you know you need to build him up. And you're like, yeah, well done. Good on you. Yeah.
Well, and even just like small disagreements, or if strangers came up to you, right?
Yeah.
And they said something and it's inconsequential. You know what I mean? Like, how are you doing? And you're having a terrible day. You just say, I'm great, thanks.
Because if it was like liar, liar, yeah. Whatever takes the focus off your head. Everybody's been so nice to me. That's because you got huge. How was it for you? I've had better. Yeah, right. There's just gonna be fewer people.
Yeah. I don't think it ends well. I mean, I think I think there is an important lesson with telling the truth, and being honest. But at the same time, sometimes you just need to be quiet.
Yeah.
And so
100%. Yeah, good question.
There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so we should get started because I think we've got some fun things to talk about.
Yes, we got a lot. Yeah, because this is weeks built up there.
Yeah.
All right. What do you want to start off with?
Okay, so this is one that Warner Brothers keeps sending me stuff, which I don't mind at all.
Nice.
Whenever you're watching, I think you'll be watching this on Sunday. This 4K version, at least for the UK, comes out on Monday. It is Sonic 2.
Oh, fun.
And what was interesting, I sat down and watched it with my wife, and her laughing at Jim Carrey was all the confirmation I needed to know whether this was actually a good movie and whether it was just me. I haven't seen it since the cinema, but I realized watching the second time how much adult content they have in there in the ways of jokes. So like when Jim Carrey goes Klatu Varata Nektu, nobody's going to get that except for adults who lived in the 80s. We recently had that quote on here, and so it's I was like, oh, okay. And there was a lot of that. I was like, that's brilliant. But obviously, as you know, whenever I review these 4K discs, we do the boxes, has a nice sleeve cover, it has all the ins and outs. So we've got the Blu-ray, we've got the 4K, which is still in my box because it's missing from there, which is still in my Xbox. Hilarious. And then it tells you about like their content. But the best thing about it is always the special features that you get on. And if you can see the little writing, it says all new animated short featuring Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, which was very cool because we haven't even had that third one yet with them in it. Like they appeared obviously in the film together, but that extra content with them I thought was very cool because I thought it like takes me back to my youth. I think for you and me, we probably grew up with the Sonic and Knuckles or just the various Sonic games that they are. We probably played one somewhere. We can, the theme tune like or the rings. The nostalgia was there for me in the movie, as well as all the commentaries, how they made it, I love that sort of thing. Like the behind the scenes, very much worth your kind of 4K disc. I think I might have bought it myself because I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey, and anybody that allows Jim Carrey to go and be Jim Carrey, man, I would watch it. It's like allowing Nicolas Cage to be Nicolas Cage. You don't hire these guys and then put them in a box.
Put them into
You have to let them. And Sonic somehow manages to do, this is a Sonic the Hedgehog movie too. We're still going to do the arc. We're still going to progress the story. We're going to have Idris Elba as Knuckles, who is just phenomenal. But then we're going to have Jim Carrey as like Jim Carrey, but as Mr. Eggman, who is just great. Physical acting, funny dialogue. Definitely worth owning it. And I was so surprised at how crisp it looked in 4K because I forget, because I mostly watch like DVDs and Blu-rays, and you think, I know there's this argument of people go, you can't see the difference, but man, when I put Sonic on, I was like, you totally see the difference. 4K is nice, especially on films like this that are like brand new, full CG, all of that. It works very well. So
especially when they're especially when they're filmed that way too.
Yeah, exactly.
They're filmed for an 8K or whatever, and
yeah. So it's not upgraded or upscaled. It's that way originally. So it was meant to be a quick mention, but there it is. The breakdowns, the behind the scenes, the extra content, the shorts that they have in it, the commentary which I've started listening to, which is hilarious, by the way. Great little purchase.
The animated short, is that using like Ben Schwartz and Idris Elba's voice, or is it?
No, it's them. Oh. Well, I couldn't tell any difference, so yeah.
Okay. Rock on. That's cool. That's fun. When does that, you said that comes out, at least as far as this recording, in a couple
Monday.
of days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
What would you like to start on?
Let's, Nope. I'd like
Man, I'm so looking forward to this film. It hasn't come out here yet.
This baffles me. Like, I started seeing people in the comments, like, from, all over Europe and even like South Korea and stuff. And they're like, yeah, we don't even know when this is coming.
Yeah.
On a movie like this that has
massive spoiler territory.
Well, it does. That's terrible. I mean, what do you do to avoid this? And I personally, I think that the full trailer, ruined it. Like,
really?
It gives away way too much. And I mean, it's all out of context. But when you've seen
when you watch the movie, then you'll be like, yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I went in because I ran out of the theater. The last
I remember
time
you telling me. Did you run away like with your son? You both ran out of the
No, my son stayed because he had already seen it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But funny enough, my wife seeing that trailer, she was really looking forward to it, and then when she saw the trailer, because she didn't run out with me, I'm the only one that did that, but her excitement level dropped hugely. Like she was like,
sucks.
"Oh, that's what this movie's gonna be. You've just shown me so much of this. I don't really want to see this." Now she did go with me to the screening, and then we saw it again as a family also. But she was like, "Oh my gosh, I am so glad that I went and saw it because it is so much better than what the trailer is." But I wish they hadn't shown that. And so anyway, but I don't understand their whole release schedule. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But as far as the movie goes, so I'm not going to get into spoiler territory at all. But
thanks. I'm going to watch it this coming Friday.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, some of the things that I absolutely loved about it, I mean, not only just the themes and the storytelling within there is some genuine funny moments that, like when a character is experienced something and then their reaction to that matches exactly what you think it should be. And it was like, oh, that's perfect. The sound design is phenomenal. You will. There are things that happen that make you see in the trailer, even the teaser trailer, how the power shuts down for whatever, the Keke Palmer is dancing to the record in the dark and all the lights and everything just dim. Well, when that happens, like everything goes silent. Like just
nice.
You just hear the
that's a really good effect. Yeah,
it's wonderful, and the score sometimes with it, not in the silence, but in some of the other action scenes or just these building tense moments, it's not overpowering, but it's got like this beat to it. Like there's one that feels kind of like a Western theme, and it like your tension is going up and up and up, and you already from just what you're watching. But then if you pay attention to the music that's playing, also it's like, okay, oh my gosh, stop, I'm already tense enough,
Nice. I'm so looking forward to this. I want to keep watching his movies so one day I can eventually form a sentence out of the titles of his movies. We got Get Out, Us, Nope, Get Out, Us. So we'll see.
Well, you can make it as a question. Us get out? Nope.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly. See, it's fun. Okay, I guess I'll move on to kind of a newer content. Let's talk about Prey. Was this on your list?
It is. I watched it last night.
Nice.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I had a lot of fun with it. I was, I saw all the early reviews. Like I didn't watch anybody's reviews, but I just saw the reactions and, just overly positive. Yeah. And I'm like, especially when I think back, right? Well, yeah. Well, and then I think back to the, what was the one that came out? What was it? Predators?
Yeah.
Where we had
2018.
It was
we had Shredder at the end of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just not good, and
no.
So it kind of worried me. And then also the fact that this was, how interesting is it going to be to see an advanced species with all kinds of technology take on for lack of a better term, primitive society. You know what I mean? They're using
the tools the tools they have are primitive. So bow and arrow, axe, spear. Yeah.
Yes, doesn't take away from their cunning and their skill. Just
no.
The
medicine is almost better than ours.
Oh, dude, yeah, totally. I want them to be treating me on half this crap.
Yeah.
I did. Now I don't know if you did it or not, but I started watching the Comanche version because
I wondered, is that available now? Okay.
It is. Yes. Yeah. And it. Like, that's the version I wish they would have filmed and then given us an English dub, because while I know why they did it, I know they're trying to reach a broader audience for people that don't want to read, because it probably would have tanked the movie. But
yeah, probably.
When it was done, now I only watched the first 6 minutes in Comanche.
Yeah.
When it's voiceovers, it was phenomenal. It was so great to just hear the natural language. But the sync is so off with the dub which is the entire reason why I never watch dub, because it just, like, even my wife. So
essentially, it's now dub, but in Comanche. That's a weird.
Yeah.
I thought it was originally in Comanche, and then they dubbed it in English, and I thought, oh, that's very good. They've done it well.
Yeah, no. So I still recommend, watch the first couple of minutes, so you can hear it, and then watch it. But I had a lot of fun with it. I mean, I thought it was clever, in some ways, and surprising.
I think the biggest thing for me was it copied the original Predator, like an homage. It was almost the same story sort of thing, and then it did its own thing. And so it's doing what we all wanted. Like, we literally just want the Predator again, but with different people almost in the same settings. The reason why the film Predators is most people like it, even though it's not great, is because they've taken a bunch of very well-trained people and put them on a planet that is basically a jungle, and then have them fight. That is the formula that works. That's all you need, really. Give us a reason, give us a little backstory as to who the characters are, give us an antagonist or an anti-hero to build up, eventually take on a predator. Fantastic. I do have an annoyance, which I only realized while talking to my wife, of all the Predator movies. So the major thing with Predator is that he's a warrior through and through. He will fight you one-on-one if you have a weapon, it's all about battle. Who is the better warrior?
Yeah.
If the Predators are the better warriors, why do they always use the stealth thing? Like, surely you would take off your stealth and you would just use your weapon or match yourself to the gear that they've got to see who's the better warrior. Basically, you're just saying, I've got the better gear and I'm winning. Because how much of a good warrior are you if you're really taking on someone that has a spear and you have, like, lasers and invisibility cloak and all of that?
Well, it's like deer hunters. Is that really a sport?
No, exactly.
And
is that really
because
you
sit up in this blind,
yeah,
for hours on end, and you then shoot them with a gun. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You know what? I want you to take on the grizzly with a knife. Whoever wins, you know what? That's a fight right there. And there, if you kill the grizzly with your knife, you can have two knives. You can have a machete, but then it's like that's hunting. But if you're standing away, from 100 yards away or 50 yards away with some huge, powerful gun, So,
so I was just like, it's kind of a flawed story in that way, that the whole species is balanced on, we're warriors and we're going to go fight the best warriors, but we're going to use advanced technology. That doesn't really make you the best warriors. That just makes you the better technology wise.
You just have the cooler toys.
You got claws and you got the spears that do the doohickeys and the bombs that explode when people look at the flashy lights and the I was like, if you see flashy lights and it's making noise and it comes from that thing, run away. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed it, but so we were watching it, and just because sometimes audio is hard in our house, we have the subtitles on, which is fine. But the subtitles, when the French were on the screen, were in French.
What?
So it wasn't even translating what they're saying. So it was like
hilarious.
That's not helpful at all. Okay, what?
Wow. Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
But I guess it put... Yeah.
I have one current... Sorry, that's totally racist and stereotypical. But,
it doesn't hurt because you're dead.
Exactly. But it was still fun. I think stylistically it looked fantastic. The cinematography was gorgeous. I think the female protagonist was believable because they built her up into what she was going to be in the end. Yeah. We knew that she didn't want to be the woman just who is the medicine woman. She was a warrior through and through in her heart, and so she needed to get there. She thought differently. So anybody that says, how can a woman take on a predator? Well, I think they showed that in the movie, so get over yourself. That's Ruben.
Well, and
I'm getting angry with the comments.
Well, and they established really well also what her her big hunt was and what it actually meant. When she has that conversation with her mom, when her mom even tells the daughter about the brother who is like the hunter.
He's the guy, comes back with the lion over his shoulder.
Yeah, but I loved yeah, I think it was the whole thing. I don't know. It was but it was no, I just really liked that it took and gave meaning to really what her big hunt was and what it was supposed to be, and so yeah.
It was pretty funny though when her brother goes, "You chose that as your hunt." I was like, "Yeah, what were you thinking?" That's like choose a badger,
Yeah,
they're pretty vicious. Yeah, go mid range. Even the bear would have been better than the predator.
Oh gosh, that was a crazy scene.
Yeah, it was great. I really liked that. It was fun.
Yeah, and that dog too. The dog was.
I said from the beginning, I will love this film, but if you kill the dog, I am out.
Yep.
Everybody else can die. Don't you dare kill the dog.
Right, the dog is so cute and it's understanding and it's oh my
smart.
gosh, loyal.
She's speaking Comanche to it with like these, and he's like, "Yeah, I got it."
Yeah, my wife was not thrilled with all of the animal killing, but most of it was like hunting. So it was
okay, yeah, but then it's the white hunters or the French hunters skinning.
That was disgusting.
Come on.
Yeah, but that was funny because she was like, you know what? If that dog dies, we're done. We're turning her off.
Yeah, we're not watching.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So funny where I think a lot of people resonate with that. It's like I can see even the protagonists, they can die. Kids, fine. It's not nice, but kill a dog. I think it's the same with cats as well. Pretty much any pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's a big animal that's made into a pet, that you have now an instant connection with them. Yeah.
It's amazing how we connect with animals that way. Yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't think it's better than the original, as a lot of reviewers are saying. I've seen the original recently. It's not. It just isn't. John McTiernan, his score. I mean, the score that they have with it, the character building. The fact that you're showing Arnie to look little and scared is a feat in itself. So, yeah.
Well, how would, because it's been like forever and a day since I've seen Predator 2 with Danny Glover. How does that one stand up?
Yeah, so I did a ranking. I did my review and I did like Predators 1 to 8 and ranking included AVP 1 and 2 because there's Predators in that.
Yes,
kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, I put it as number 3. I think Prey sits it's nicely number 2, but because it's a bit dated, Predator 2, there are some things that just don't quite work as well, like the CG. However, Danny Glover still brilliant. The one-liners, brilliant. Even Predator has one-liners, like shit happens. Somebody says shit happens, and he records it, and he plays it back and goes shit happens, and you're like hilarious. You've got the Rastafarians. I don't want to call them Jamaicans or Haitians. Rastafarians, I think. The Haitian, like they were into voodoo and all sorts of kind of stuff. And it was way darker. But seeing the Predator in the urban jungle was a really nice touch, and it worked well. They did their own thing. I also think now Predator 2 connects to Prey in a nice little timeline because the weapon that Danny Glover gets is this old flintlock pistol, and I'm pretty sure that's the flintlock that she has.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, that's how I see it. Anyway, that makes sense to me. So, because it's from that timeline. So, who knows?
It's canon. Say it.
Yeah, it's canon. It's fact, guys. You heard it here first.
Yep.
Anyway, we should move on from Prey and all the Predators.
Cool. Yeah. Let's see. So 13 Lives.
Yes. Watched this last night. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, yeah, I saw it in the theater a couple of weeks ago. It's now on Amazon Prime, I think, worldwide. Tell me about it. What did you think? Good,
Good
bad,
Lord, I
middle?
stopped breathing. I didn't even know I'd stopped breathing. Seriously, when a film can do that, I literally was holding my breath. I didn't know. And then there were moments I was talking at the TV, like, and I didn't know I was doing that either. I was like, you better save that kid. Like, do not leave him. Just because his mask doesn't fit tightly around his face. I thought it was fantastically put together. I know some people have issues with its pacing, because the pacing is kind of all over the place, because they're kind of building story and there's characters from all over the place. But I thought that gave it more, I felt like a almost documentary in places. Except Ron Howard's direction and his cinematography, like when we get the wide open vistas, just stunning. And then when you get the claustrophobic diving sequences, it is very claustrophobic. You know, you can be sitting in your living room feeling like I think I need my asthma pump. I don't feel too good in my chest, man. Yeah. What did you think?
Same. Like, I didn't know the outcome of the story.
I didn't know the story at all. I think I'd heard about it, but there's been so many that like this that I just, there was the one in the cave that we had recently, a bunch of miners. So my mind hears bits of news and information, and you hear like some people died, some people survived. So you never really know. But yeah, so.
Yes. So when I went into this, I mean, I'm like it's a tense thriller. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the outcome.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it was, I mean, you're right. Absolutely. Claustrophobia. Oh my goodness. And I loved, too, that we didn't see the same bits over and over and over again as they go back and forth.
They could have totally done that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that would have been, I mean, it would have been boring. It would have been just so repetitive. You're like, ugh, shoot me in the head. But it wasn't. I mean, after those initial times where we get really the scale of what's going on and everything, I love that we only return to these pieces when it's pivotal to a piece of the story. Yeah. And so we, if they're the stalactites and the stalagmites and that little maze that they have to go through, you don't see that for the majority of it until something they need to. And so that was, it was good. I was holding my breath as well. Yeah. I mean, it was terrifying. And I liked the no nonsense approach that both Viggo Mortensen and Colin Farrell brought to their characters. Like, I was expecting more from them at first when I saw that I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be good," and they show up with their crap and they're just standing there, and they're just kind of, you feel their there's
a frustration.
Yeah. And then when they get to go, it's like, let's just go. And they just go. I mean, there's not this dialogue that happens and all this extraneous stuff that wouldn't happen. These are trained guys who have worked together. They have a shorthand. They have this already a connection of how they work. So they just go. And I thought that was,
I'm interested to know whether you felt this, because I spoke to John recently, the other, we've had him on the show once before, and he was reviewing it as well, and so he was annoyed with how, maybe annoyed is too strong a word, well, I think it's correct, how the British guys came across being like the heroes, like these guys were going to save everybody, and I didn't get that. And maybe that's because from birth I'm not actually British, but I was wondering, because sometimes you feel like that from America, like, oh, the Americans, look, America saved the day again, and so we get like the British guy, the Australian guy, like the Europeans almost coming and doing a better job than the Navy SEALs team. But I just thought it was their expertise. I thought the character that Viggo Mortensen played, it was so real. Like, he said straight up, I don't really like kids. But he's just the best at what he does, and you totally get that. And he's like logical to a fault, really, because it's almost inhuman. Like, well, they're gonna die. That's that. Yeah. Which I really liked. I thought he played a really real person. So I was wondering if you felt the same way.
He's a retired firefighter. So he's you imagine all the stuff that he's seen in his life.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, so it's jaded.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can see how it would be like, oh, here come all the white folks. To save,
exactly.
And I think I think there is an aspect of that, but they stood down. I mean, the Navy SEALs, the Thai Navy SEALs, could not accomplish it because they're not trained for that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think what happened in this instance, it was more so it came down to a skill. Not necessarily that these are the white people, the white Europeans and Americans that have come in. It was just that you have these people who have a very specialized skill, and they happen to come from these countries. You know what I mean? They come over.
Yeah. Because while all of that's going on, I thought the film did a very good job at showing the 4,970 or 980 other people that were involved in helping the kids. So we had a few divers, but then we had all the farmers giving up their lands to be flooded. We had the guy that was living in America but is from Bangkok, who the engineer that comes and orchestrates blocking up the holes, diverting billions of liters of water so that the cave cannot fill up so much. And I thought that I mean, and this is all true story, so it's all based on fact. Seeing humanity come together to help 13 kids, it was just like, yes, come on, see, we can be nice to each other.
Yeah, and that's really where I saw that it was more of, in this instance, because it's based on fact. It wasn't it wasn't a conjuring of a story to let's have the white savior thing
almost
come
like
in.
whitewashing, because that wouldn't, I don't think that'd get past in today's standards, where people are like, why aren't you having diversity in film?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's a great argument. Why wouldn't you? If you were just telling the story, then have these people from all over, you know what I mean, do that.
Exactly.
But I thought, I mean, pivotal to the story just as much as the rescue divers were, and even the Navy SEALs, because, I mean, you figured they're the ones that mapped the first part of it. They're the ones that
the T-junction
were able to get, I mean, they got the, some of the electrical in there. I mean, all of that stuff. I mean, they did all that.
Everybody.
Yeah, but the dude, the engineer, like you talked about, I mean, there is no way in the world any of that could have happened if that guy wasn't on the top of the mountain with all of those volunteers.
Because them pumping water, like you said, inside the cave was doing nothing. It wasn't helping. It just was a waste.
It wasn't. Yeah, it's mind-boggling to watch how much they're pumping out. Yeah, and how the water though is coming in at such a rate. Yeah. And when it has that aerial shot of you watching all of the water come off of the mountain, I'm like, oh my gosh! I mean that. That was terrifying in and of itself, because you see over on the little side there's like somebody's home, and you're like, is that going to survive now? I mean,
There's stuff they don't tell you about caving either. Like when I went to Nepal, there was one of these worship temple caves. You get like a tour. You can't take any photographs because it has all these idols around, and they're very particular about like taking photographs is not allowed. But the deeper you get, the denser, because it's so wet and warm, it starts getting really, really steamy and hard to breathe. There's stuff that you just take for granted, like as you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And this was meant to be one of the local. This is for the public caves, but I tell you what, even though it's a public cave, it's still harrowing. If you've ever gone down into a deep cave in a humid climate, which that definitely was, there's elements that you just take for granted. I think it captured some of that, but I was just like, I had some relevance to pull back from as I was watching this. Like, I remember that. That sucks. It was really well done.
Yeah, outstanding. All right, what's next on your list?
One that you gave 3.5 stars for, Chris.
Oh, is this the one you gave 5 to?
Yeah, the Sandman. And I'd just like to point out that you gave another film a higher ranking.
I did.
I'm like, Chris, what is happening?
Yeah, no, it annoyed a few people. Yeah,
I saw that in your comments. It's pretty funny. Yeah. People don't like having different opinions, do they?
Yeah, no, it made me laugh. But and it's not that I didn't enjoy the show. It was.
But I did watch your review, and I totally understand why you gave it a 3.5, because it it's like a snapshot of the Sandman. You get to experience like the first 5 episodes is him coming out of captivity, trying to reclaim his 3 elements that make him the Sandman. And then we go to this like individual episodes of like a day in the life of. And it's basically an existential crisis of an elemental being that is more powerful than a god that needs to learn something. And how do you show that? It's really hard to show that. So, but I can tell you that the first season of the books is the same. So it's not like they've swapped it around or made it different. That's what it's like in the books. They have like put it back, and it's setting up an amount of other worlds that we're going to experience. We're going to get more with Death. We're going to get more with the other siblings, which I'm loving from what we've seen. I do want to point out that the internet once again pissed me off. I was like, what is your problem with Lucifer being a female? Are you kidding? Come on, man. Because she was phenomenal.
Well, and it was so much more than just that, too. I mean, it was that, you know, a character is now black or a character is now a woman. It was just Neil Gaiman himself, who was instrumental in the casting of this show, of the day-to-day stuff. I mean, I think he's an executive producer on the show. I mean, he had a hand involved
in the script of every single episode. Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
When he went back and he said, you know what, when we were looking at this, the comic was written 30 years ago. So he's like, is there any reason why certain pieces of this could not be a little different? And he was like, no, there's not. There's no good reason that this character needs to be a guy or needs to be a girl or needs to be white or...
Even biblically, Chris, because even though Lucifer or Satan or the Morning Star is always depicted as a guy, because we have Seraphim and Nebulum and they came down and had sex with humans, and that's how there's a whole history of stuff that you can go into. Angels don't actually have a sex. It's because they're angelic beings. They're supernatural. And even if you look at the name Lucifer is Morning Star. It's not male. And the Morning Star means something different. It's not a name. It's this spiritual God's right hand on the music department who fell. That's what you believe, or if that's what you read in the Bible, I would say to people, go back and read the original Hebrew and Greek to their original meanings, because we have 20,000 various other versions of what people's idea of what they think it is. It's their interpretation. You want to go back to the original text? And so the influence that Neil Gaiman had, bringing that Lucifer character in, has a cornucopia of ways you could depict it. There isn't one set rule. And I thought she was fantastic and stunning as well. Like, always meant to be this beautiful character, unearthly, ethereal, much like the actor that they got for the Sandman, who I thought has the best kind of physique to look like the Sandman, to look unhuman.
Yeah, he was great. And you know what? And I liked all of the characters too. That was the thing. Like I didn't dislike this show at all. It was excuse me, it was kind of that overall feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah,
because I enjoyed, and there were some episodes, like I had said in my review, that I absolutely was just like riveted and loved. But when I took it as a whole, I was just kind of like, well, it was okay.
Yeah. I totally get it. You see, for me, having read the comics and the audiobook, I was really looking forward to seeing how they would depict a character or how they would show a certain sequence. Because in your mind, you have an idea. And often it doesn't quite match up, but sometimes it does. It live up to the hype. Like Lord of the Rings, I'd read the books a number of times. When I watched the original trilogy, I was like, yeah, this is how I imagined it, and so much more. And there were moments in here that were just like, yeah, this is how I thought of it. Some characters were different, but I didn't mind that because it made it a little bit fresh, a little bit different.
Sure.
Who was your favorite character then in the Sandman so far?
Oh gosh. See, I loved Death. I loved her whole approach.
Yeah.
I just the presentation. I really loved, and I think the character's name is John, but David Thewlis as the guy who stole the ruby. Yeah. Which first off, I love him as an actor also. Watching him,
great.
I mean, Yeah, so good. I think though probably it's gonna be Boyd Holbrook as
Corinthian.
as the Corinthian.
Oh my god,
he was
same favorite character. Yeah,
just he
In
was
the series,
the right
yeah.
amount of creepy. You know what I mean? And cunning. And,
there were
but
times
also,
I liked him, but I know I'm not supposed to.
That's it. Like, dude, you're a really bad guy, and yet you're making some good arguments here, or you know, he's like the anti-hero in this. And I'm like,
He's also just being his nature, how he was created. You can't
Exactly.
really fault him for doing the nightmare stuff because he is a nightmare.
yeah. And you know, I liked Lucienne also. I thought she was, I loved her dynamic with Dream because of she brings some wisdom and also a little bit of bite sometimes to some of these conversations. You know what I mean? Like,
And then Dream
like
throws a little bit of a kid's tantrum. And you're like, dude, you really need to do some growing, don't you? Come on, man.
Yeah. Because see, and that's what I like too, because she had the experience of going through all of this while he was absent.
Yeah.
And so now she has reached a different spot and he has not yet caught up and learned.
Yeah.
And we get to watch that then. And so that progression, and I think that's what you had said in your review, just the growth of him learning. And that was wonderful to watch. I mean, you know, see a character start out in one spot and then through examples from other people get to another spot. I thought that was brilliant. So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. My favorite character before it became the Corinthian died, and it was minor spoiler, but the gargoyle. I just love the gargoyle, and I was so upset for them. And it was like, oh, why are you doing this? Is there no one else something where you can get your power? And the thing is, like, I thought the CG was excellent because you could see the paws, the little kind of scales, and it was like having this conversation. And I was like, no, don't. It was like, you know, we were just talking about killing off the dog. It was like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and because I was questioning at one point during the series, I'm like, Cain and Abel felt underutilized within this story that we see, you know, and especially that first episode that we meet them in. The only reason that they exist is so that there is an emotional connection to Gregory. You know
I would
what I mean?
agree with that. There is more of them, that interaction in the books, graphic novels, yeah.
As it goes along, right?
Yeah.
That they okay.
No, but
See,
even in this series, there was more. That's just not padded out. They take some of the padding out, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. But I loved though Dream's interaction with Gregory in that. That is a devastating scene.
Yeah.
You know,
totally
when you watch and I believed it.
And you could see him as well. Like,
yes.
Wait. I think the one thing I got is that how he really cares for all of his creation, right?
Yes.
He's really upset when they've kind of abandoned him. It's like, do they trust me so little? And I was thinking, I guess it's been 100 years, but actually in the grand scheme of eons, like that's a minute amount of time.
Yeah.
Did you catch the part where he said I'd messed up before and killed off a universe?
No, I don't think I.
Oh yeah, there's a line in there, and I thought, I think that one time he messed up, and a universe was destroyed. So I was like, oh, oops.
I'd like to hear some of that story.
Yeah, what happened there?
Yeah,
there's also a missing sibling. Did you notice?
I did. Yes. Yeah. What was that? The prodigal?
The prodigal. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what and that's the thing too. I loved Desire.
Oh yeah,
and
so cool.
But I don't think we got enough of them.
We didn't. We did not. There's much more of them coming. Yeah.
And then Despair. Okay, so the little bit that we get of Despair. Do you remember? You saw Warm Bodies, right? with Nicholas Hoult and the Romeo and Juliet zombie movie.
The zombie movie, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a line in there where Nicholas Holt's character is talking about where they move from zombies to that thing where they scratch and like all of the regular skin comes off, and don't do that, you're making it worse. And that's what popped into my head when I'm watching Despair. I'm like, no, stop.
Stop it. It's going to come out.
Please stop that. That's...
You're gonna shed your whole skin.
Yeah. It's just... So I do hope that there's a lot more to them. I get the sense that, not reading the novels or listening to the books at all. So the show is my only source there. I get the sense that there will be a lot more to that. And I'm very excited for that. Because I think it could... Like, I like the world that's been built, and I like the whole environment and the universe and just the lore around that. It's just, I think what probably was, for me, you have all of these characters that are introduced, which I think is important, but they feel more important than the time that they get.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Joanna Constantine, which...
Loved her character.
I like. Yeah,
she's
I
amazing.
do, but she's in that episode.
She's not enough. Yeah.
And
you've established as a fantastic character, and they made her out to be, absolutely integral to the storyline. There's this whole history going back. I've dealt with the Constantines forever. They're not to be trusted, but I need their help, sort of thing. And we know from, we've seen Constantine series, we've seen the Constantine movie, we're all excited. There's Constantine, we know there's going to be magics and demons and stuff. And then we get that one episode. I'm like, is she coming back? They seem to have a kind of a connection. Was there a romance thing there? I don't know.
It felt, that part of it felt like the start, which I understand it is, but at the same time,
you don't come back to it. There's so many threads pulling on. I think that's what it is. They're establishing so many stories that are going to be building up later. And people are like, what is this? It's all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think, that could be also at least in the back of my mind, the subconscious thing that I hadn't thought of until just right now is that they started all these storylines, which is great, and I don't mind that, because if I watch a regular series and it gives me, we could be going this way and this way, you're building out this big world. But it took so long to get season 1 to us.
Years in the making, yeah.
And from what I understand, there has still been no confirmation that a season 2
has it
or
not
future
been
seasons.
Picked up yet?
I don't know.
That's depressing. Because even if it gets picked up now, it could still be probably minimum 3 years before we get season 2.
Exactly. And a slight aside there, Stranger Things season 5 has been confirmed. It's
the last one.
But they tweeted out just like this last week or something, a whiteboard that for their storyboarding.
Oh,
and
what?
It's like,
I thought they were further than that. Oh,
I
gosh.
thought they were too, and so that makes me worry. And so that the point of that being that pushes that series out further, and so it worries me if this season has not been, or the second season or subsequent seasons have not been greenlit. That puts us really far away, because this is a CGI heavy show,
very much, and there's so much post production that they need. And it looked good. Like most of it. There was some CGI, especially in the finale, that was just like ugh. But I loved the world that was created with this. I was disappointed. For me, in my mind, the battle between Lucifer and the Sandman was bigger. It was more like the Arthur, Merlin and Arthur. No, Merlin
the Wizard's duel.
The Wizard's Duel. Yeah. That's what it was meant to be like. And in the book, it was definitely much more descriptive and bigger than that. Here, it's like a battle of words that manifest into reality, right?
Yeah.
We got that. But it ended up being just kind of like a black screen with this thing that was happening. And then I was just like, you needed to see the person either transform into that or have a separate stadium where you're talking and the thing you're talking about manifests and we see that go on. And for me, in the audiobook and the graphic novels, they definitely depicted that. But here, it was just like, it was underwhelming, and we'd built up to that quite a lot. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, well. Well.
Yes.
Yeah, we should move on then.
Okay. Let's talk the Bullet Train. I think we have differing opinions on this. I know you saw it the other day, yesterday, but I don't know if you've done a review yet. Okay,
I haven't. No.
But I had a blast with this. Now I know that I am turning out to be in the minority.
I really thought everybody loved this. I thought I was in the minority.
Well, and it was like, if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's rotten. It's like it was like at 53
I think the critics
or something like
don't
that.
like it, which disappoints me because I'm never on the critic side, and the audience loves it. It's like an 88 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I had an absolute blast with this. I took my oldest son and we went to the screening in San Francisco.
Nice.
And it was everything I thought it was going to be. Now, I'd only seen the first trailer, which apparently there's subsequent trailers show more, which. Yeah. Again, stop. You're giving away some of the cameos and some of the reveals, especially like who the end guy is and stuff like that. But
they don't actually reveal that in the trailer, do they?
That
would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought they.
Oh, that would really piss me off if I had known that going in.
Yeah. But. I thought the close quarters, the fighting in there, Brad Pitt being very witty, his conflicted, versus, him with his skill set and all of his past, and coming
but also
up against
trying to be zen.
Yeah, exactly. His current state of mind and his current, desire, them in constant conflict there. Was just, and I mean, come on. If I would love to see, and I think I've seen some other people say this as well, like a spin-off series that's pre-Bullet Train of Lemon and Tangerine.
Seriously, they're the best thing about the entire movie, by far. Like, sorry, Brad Pitt, but those two. And that's a question I wanted to ask you. Is Thomas the Tank Engine famous in the US? Because in Britain, that's like what my kids grew up with, like reading, watching Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah.
Oh, our kids did too. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched Thomas the Tank.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I thought that was really funny, and like how deep and wisdomful.
Who would have thought? Wisdom Who would have thought?
Right? Yeah. So kudos to the writers for picking up and including that, which is
Thomas is going to get his own universe since being in Ant-Man, as that crash, and now in this, brilliant. Also think the best storyline in Bullet Train was the water bottle.
The what? The water bottle?
The water bottle.
Oh, water bottle. Yeah.
The water bottle? Sorry, I wasn't being American enough. The water bottle, Chris. The water bottle?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, well, and it's so funny, too, that they included that because it's just like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Brad Pitt standing there with the dog food can. I mean, it was so good. And I loved the timing that they all had in that. I thought there was a lot of wit to it.
I thought stylistically it looked phenomenal, and the script was tight. It was good. The dialogue script was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah. Now, the ending, it goes off the rails. I mean, it just... Oh,
the train goes off the... Well done, Chris.
No pun intended there. Yay. Unintentional funny. But no, it... we go from ridiculous fighting that feels at least somewhat grounded within the train, to then a point where you have Aaron Taylor Johnson outside of the train, and then the
my
ending
wife, she's going, I don't care how strong your wrist is and you've got a knuckle duster, the speed that train is going on and the thickness of that glass You're never punching through that, ever.
Well, even before that, the nose of the train is slanted like this.
Yeah.
It's taking off from the platform. You're telling me that you have enough speed to jump onto it and then hold on to that. That's
apparently.
sure. Okay.
Yeah. Apparently.
And then
the
whole finale of the you've seen some of it, the trailers. I mean, just the crashing, the explosion. But Brad Pitt, Supermaning for a little bit was, I laughed because of how ridiculously stupid it was.
I bought it because they had already established the fetus position. The woman in his ear saying, go into fetus position, and then you get the fluffy bunny suit, and he goes into fetus. I was like, that's hilarious. That is funny. But yeah, also totally unbelievable. Every single person in that train crash would be dead, like for reals. Like,
oh yeah. Well, just sorry, it's going to go into a little bit of spoilers there, but no, it's just funny. I mean, I know that I had way more fun than a lot of people did with it, but it was like I didn't feel the time either. I was surprised that it was over 2 hours long, because for me, and I saw some people talk about how that they felt it was too long, that they felt it lulled in spots, and for me, it didn't. Like I was right there, fully engaged the whole time, just having a blast and following along, and it felt, I think too, because the story felt very. I've seen some people say Pulp Fiction, and I can see that in like 2 Days in the Valley, where you just have storylines that are overlapping to then all converge, at one thing. And so I thought,
even Reservoir Dogs, it could be, there's a little bit. I think we need to talk about expectation and marketing versus reality. And I think a lot of the reason why people are coming into this film, they have an expectation of what they think it is with the marketing of what this film is. So for a heads up that anybody that's going to watch Bullet Train, it is not John Wick on a train. It just isn't. No. There are a few action sequences, and when you get them, they are great. And there is a big set piece at the end, which is where they blew their budget. That is what it is. But really what it is, it's a murder mystery revenge story. And once I changed my expectation of what this film is, I started to enjoy it more. That is down to the marketing, because it was director of John Wick. It was Brad Pitt and all the action sequences. We saw him fighting with the briefcase. So then it's very easy for people to go, John Wick director's directing this. It's John Wick on a train with Brad Pitt. Sign me up. And I think I remember telling you about this. Like, you hadn't even heard about the film yet. And I was like, this is... I think it was like January, we were doing our predictions of what we were looking forward to most. And like, what is Bullet Train? That sounds rubbish.
I don't know.
I've never even heard of it. And fast forward to now. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So the issues I had with it, for one, if you're going to do something, do your research properly. There was one bit that stood out I thought was great. There was a bit where Brad Pitt's character had interacted with Lemon and Tangerine in the past in Johannesburg, and he called it Joburg, which is, if anybody living in Johannesburg will know, people from Johannesburg call it Joburg. And I thought, great, they've done their research. It's correct. You wouldn't say Johannesburg, you would say Joburg. Even now you'd say Gauteng, because it changed its name to the African name. So Joburg is fine, but there's this snake, the boom slang, that has been stolen. The only way it's known as is boomslang, because it's an Afrikaans name for a snake, and that is its name. You can't translate it to boomslang. It's boomslang for snake. Slang is snake in Afrikaans. So you would then say tree snake, which is what it translates to, not boomslang. And that's just basic research. So it's just like, come on, like, you get that right. And I know Brad Pitt has, like, he's done a lot of like African stuff, or South African. He's done a bit of accent that way before. I just thought it was I know that's nitpicky, but for me that stood out. I was like, what the hell? What's a boom slang? The pacing was a little bit off for me. The stories were all over the place. I liked the fruition. I thought Ken Watanabe?
No.
What's his name?
I can't. I slaughtered it in my review.
every time I see him on screen, I just want more of him, because the minute he walks on screen, he just brings presence. Like, that dude has an aura, and I loved it. I thought the guy that played the main bad guy actually had a decent story, actually, of like, I kind of know why you're the bad guy. I understand this revenge plot. That's pretty cool. The girl, didn't like her at all. I just thought, what is the point of you? Like, and the reveal of who she was, I thought was weak and lazy story writing. I just thought, I saw that coming a mile away. Like, that was so obvious. And they didn't really give her anything to play with, considering there's this young girl that's on a train of assassins in various nature, and she doesn't really do anything. I expected a certain scene, like a kick-ass scene, to come along, and she never gets to do anything until she gets to do something. But really, it's acting and crying, and it's Thomas the Tank Engine interactions. But then again, it's Lemon and Tangerine. Those guys are the ones that I think carried the movie. I thought they were phenomenal. Like, literally, like you said, we need a series with them. Their adventures, I would watch all day long. They're so funny, so good. The score, the soundtrack, the visual palette, that was phenomenal. So much fun. And that's not saying, like, I didn't hate it. I gave it 3.5 stars. That's still a very good film. I think, again, it does come down to, and maybe one day Hollywood will get this right. Marketing, if you market a film one way and it isn't that film when people go in, the reason why you get downgraded in your scores from audience and critics is because you've said it's one film, but it's not that film. So then some people might not have the know-how in the moment to readjust their evaluation of the film that they're actually watching. And so for me, I was like, I'm a critic, I'm a film reviewer, hang on, this isn't the film that okay, that's fine, let's put that to a side. We're watching a murder mystery, cool, let's go, I'm in. But a lot of people are like, what is this? I'm so bored, the time's ticking on. Where's the next action John Wick scene? Oh, there isn't any. Oh, we had that one with Brad Pitt. When is that coming in? Oh, there's that assassin. I literally thought there was going to be a few more bands of, like, different types of assassins come along, and they were gonna have to fight them and throw them out the window of the train, and that kind of thing. It's not that movie.
No, it's not. And I think that I wish you're right. I wish Hollywood would, and whoever makes the trailers and whoever directs the trailers, like, would be like, you know what, we need to stick to this. Now, I'm okay with within a movie where it surprises me by becoming deeper or becoming like transitioning to something that I didn't expect. Yeah. But if I'm told it's A and it's really D, that nobody likes that, because I went in because I thought it was A. If you tell me it's A and you start off with A and then it becomes D, you know what? Most people are okay with that, because you brought me in and you showed me what I thought it was going to be, and then you surprised me with something, different or better or whatever.
There's been a number of movies where I think trailers just do the film harm. I remember to this day watching From Dusk Till Dawn. I'd never seen the trailer, and I watched the film, and I thought, damn, this is a really interesting, creepy kidnapping thriller. And then it turns its head and becomes this vampire horror film. I had no idea that going in. However, all the people that seen the trailer went in with that expectation. There was no reveal, and then they were like, "This isn't very good, is it? This is definitely one of his worst films." I was like, "Yeah, I see," but you missed the creativity of trying to show something and make something different. Yeah. And marketing comes down to, there's a big part of marketing that can ruin a film or a franchise.
And we've seen, so many times where the trailers themselves give away so much.
The ending, well, that's the ending. Yeah.
Yeah, I just...
Do you remember watching the Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer? And in that trailer, there was this fight sequence with Rhino, and they had it was more like a mechanoid Rhino suit. It was part of the trailer as the bad guys that Spider-Man would fight during the movie. But it's literally the last 6 seconds of the end of that movie. It starts with him saying something, and then he runs, and then the credits roll. So they took that bit and made it part of the trailer, and everybody had these expectations. Again, one of the reasons why people say The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was bad. And there's a few other reasons. I liked the film. I thought it was good. I really like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I thought he did a fantastic job. I really feel for him that he never got to finish out his trilogy and come back and, get over Gwen's death. And But marketing, again, the way they showed what was not the film that people expected to see.
Yep.
Anyway, that's Bullet Train and marketing for you all in one. You're welcome.
Yes.
Let's move on
Okay.
There's two things we can talk about. Do you want to talk about Carter?
Sure.
It's not a 5-star film. It wasn't the best thing I watched this week, but it's definitely the craziest thing I've watched this week. The most mental film I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
What did you think when you were watching this film?
It is ridiculous. I mean, that's really it's billed as one shot, one continuous take. It's clearly not that.
Oh no, it cuts so many times.
It does, yeah. It's edited really well.
Yeah.
I mean, to feel seamless. I got
There's
a
even
little
some
tired
reviews
though,
Chris, that are saying that it is. I've watched a review recently. It's like, yeah, one shot film, amazing. I was like, it isn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. I mean, it's edited to be that way.
It's edited to be that way, but it's obviously not though. Yeah.
You can tell so many times because, and that was the one thing that I do wish that the film would have done is lock down a few times.
Yeah.
Just to sit still. You know what I mean?
To show us all that time and money and choreographing that you've obviously spent. But Chris, the drone. Who is flying the drone? Because it's creative, but it's also mental.
Yes.
Stop with the drone.
Yes, it was too much.
Way
it was
too
much. And the dialogue in this movie is atrocious.
Oh yeah, don't listen to the dialogue, Chris.
Like I considered turning it off when Mike Coulter comes
hilarious.
on and the other like the agent,
the English
comes on there.
Yeah. My gosh. Yeah.
They like I told my son we were just chatting about it because I was like, dude, you need to watch this film because it's balls to the wall action and it's ridiculous in that, but the dialogue is stupid. It's like they took non-English speaking actors and made them
then
speak
told
English.
them to speak English.
And they're not confident in their words because the dialogue delivery itself was, I don't even know. It didn't feel natural. It came across as just, and only when they like the Americans or the the English speakers, because like some of the other stuff, it flowed well, and that conversation just happened really well. So I don't know what it was. I don't know why, but it was like, oh gosh, that's bad. But
in my review, I said that Hollywood would be looking to this film, though, for creative uses of action sequences, because there's stuff in here that I haven't seen, even in like John Wick films. Like there's a moment with two trucks that pull up along the van, and they're fighting from one to one whilst moving. It was so creative, so well done. There are others where they're throwing helicopters at each other, I guess.
Yes, that's appropriate. Yes.
Yeah. And then the guy has learned to fly because he's defying gravity. Like there's a point where he starts defying gravity, and then that's just a thing from then on. I was like, cool.
Well, and he reaches in and hits the joystick on the helicopter, and it just stays there. Then it flies how it's.
That's how things work, Chris. Come on.
You have to take logic and reason, and you have to let them go completely, and just watch the insanity unfold.
I was disappointed because it starts off mental, but very well done and choreographed. The bathhouse scene was phenomenal.
My gosh.
Like, seriously. Brutal, probably way more brutal than even Kill Bill. It took some homage from Kill Bill when it changes color palette. There's so much blood on the lens, and then suddenly it's red for a bit. And I thought, nice, very good way to go. And then it does this drone shot, like when everything's settled, when he's running away, and it shows us the carnage of just people going, like in Kill Bill, where everybody like holding their limbs and they're not dead, but they're probably dying.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, that is great. So they established how they're going to do it. But it's like, from that moment, the director went, yeah, I'm bored now. Let's do Fast and Furious, but in this type of film. And so what we end up being is a Fast and Furious crazy one-shot film with somebody that has only bought 2 drones. So where they're going to use drones for the whole film as their camera. And then obviously had to do ADR for the whole film at the end because his drones are so loud. There's no ways you could do that. However, the lead protagonist, that dude can fight and hold his own. Like, he looks like he knows how to do everything, but also he's immortal. Probably Chuck Norris's son. His granddad is Thanos.
Yeah.
This dude, nothing like he's the best of the best of the best, sir.
There are so many times that this dude should have been dead. I mean, just
so many. It's also not as good as you think. I've got a special video coming out tonight or tomorrow morning, depending when I'm finished. I'm doing Carter kill shots or every death. I label it. So I'm halfway through, and I've been going ding ding every time there's an actual death. But going through it scene by scene, you see how many people aren't actually dead, how many of the extras get back up. So like at the bathhouse scene, you think so many people are dead, a lot of them aren't. Or when the actor actually holds off from the killing. Like, sometimes you think that there's the sound effect of the death scene, but because I'm stretching it out and I'm looking, that didn't even touch you. Oh no. There's a lot of that, and then I realized the helicopters were CG, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there were a couple of times too where, I mean, the helicopters were less obvious with the CG than like when they were on the rope ladder or the rope bridge. That scene was just, it was like the color grading was off even, and so that was a bummer because it was like,
I just don't think we needed the zombie storyline either. I think we could have just had everybody after him. The zombie storyline was weird. I guess it's the MacGuffin to get him from one place to another.
Because it's the chase sequence of trying to recover the thing.
Yeah.
The whole...
It's still just weird.
The 28 days later it was very weak. And there's a point towards the climax of the film where he starts purposefully releasing the rage monsters, but people are still there, and I'm like, how is that? That doesn't seem like a good use of.
Well, he was just trying to get him and the kids out, so he was allowing, basically using them as. But also, what happened to all the researchers, man?
Yeah, I know.
That's not a good guy. Yeah. You're not a good guy. What are you doing? But without doing spoilers, the ending really pissed me off because you don't want to do a franchise, or there's only 2 ways you can predict like the ending. Either they did or they didn't.
Yes,
I think that's a good way to do it without spoilers.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But if they didn't, then what is the point? Yep. And if they did, then what is the point?
Yep. Yeah. I will watch a continuation or a sequel or
totally. I want to see the madness.
That's it. Yeah. I like especially now, my expectation for story, for acting, any of that, I don't care. Like, give me the ridiculousness and the mayhem and that energy, of just like, it was exhausting though, wasn't it? To watch this movie because
really exhausting.
There is not really ever any letdown for it. And you're like, gosh, I just need a breather for a second. Let me, okay, now we can go again, and it was like, nope.
There's one I want to talk about really. Well, there's two I want to talk about really quickly. Just flag up.
Okay.
One is called The Resort. It's on Peacock. It's a Peacock original series, and it's good. You're like, Peacock did something good. Yeah, they did.
What?
It's a timey-wimey series, but the story only really will hook you properly at the end of episode 4. It builds up the first 4 episodes.
Okay.
I think they released the first 4 episodes, and then the last 4 are week by week. But it's good that they did, because the end of the 4th is like, oh, like I was gripped from the beginning, because it's more about this couple that go into a resort. They having issues in their marriage. One of the actors you will recognize, well, probably both of them, both great actors. There's this big mystery as to what's going on with the resort. There's a crazy guy that owns it, and you think there's something weird going on until episode 4. At the end, you're like, oh damn, and that's when your jaw will hit. From the creators of Palm Springs. All right, so that should be enough of a hook for you. I loved it. That was one. People need to watch it. It's just so good. And then there is Pretty Little Liars Original Sin. I did not expect to love this series as much as I did. Because it's Pretty Little Liars is like teenage angst with people lying to each other, and they're trying to... There's been a number of series similar to this, and even in this genre. But Pretty Little Liars Original Sin is kind of an unofficial reboot of the whole franchise. It's kind of gone back, but it's really Scream. It's embraced the horror, and so it's like serial killer. Man, it's dark. First episode, I was so surprised at how dark they were willing to go, like Scream dark, right? And so it sets up something goes wrong at the beginning, and then that first episode, and then episode 2 is like the repercussions. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legends, and Scream all kind of rolled into one. And then they're basically trying to figure out who's after them and who's killing them off. And it's really horror. Like, it's a horror series. And I was like, dang, this is really good. I didn't expect to like this. I still want you all to die, because there's a lot of teenage angst in this. And I have I have the kids I'm kind of rooting for that are half decent human beings. But the rest of you, I can't wait to see what the killer does with you. It's surprisingly good.
What's that on?
HBO Max. Yeah, it's
that worries me then.
Why? You have HBO. Why you?
No, because of all the news, which we will be discussing, I think, in our Patreon. But yeah, okay.
As far as I'm aware, it's safe. It's doing good numbers. So
good. Is the whole season out, or is it like a weekly release?
I think it's a weekly release, but there are a few out already. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
I got one more on my list. It only came out limited this past weekend, and it begins to open wide this coming weekend, which is very vague for everybody because I didn't use dates. It is Bodies.
I was hoping you had seen this. Okay, good.
Yes. So I went to San Francisco for this also, because nice. I made the 2-hour drive. My wife went with me. It's really expensive for me to go with the current gas prices and stuff like that. Yeah, gas
is like more expensive than beer, so stay home and drink beer. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it was, but this was a surprisingly good time. The total spoiler free. I'm not going to give away anything because obviously
I haven't seen it. I'm really looking forward to watching it. Yeah.
It is, it's a twist on the murder mystery genre. And it works for a lot of it. There are some pieces of it here and there which I think I'm a little outside the demographic. I am not a boomer.
But that's what I liked about the trailer. We saw a trailer last night, Chris, on Bodies. And the demographic was obviously against teenagers, which I'm guessing was why you're thinking the demographic is not you. And the stuff, the caricatures of the individual teenagers, like totally, and they really played that up. like, oh no, you're totally in my space, you're not vibing, and then that would be the reason why person would die or something. So I like the fact that they were embracing that. I don't know if that's what the film is, but sorry, I'll let you carry on. I just thought I'd say that's why I like that.
That's good insight. Yeah, because there were, like, in my audience, it was a wide range of ages. So it was like early 20s to probably mid to late 50s in there. Now I'm Generation X. Don't call me a boomer. That is not what I am. My parents are boomers. But I laughed at a lot of it. But there were a couple of times where I noticed that the younger people in the audience, they were laughing at something that I wasn't laughing at.
Right. And you were like, what? I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it made me think, okay, that's generational, not a big deal. But the dark comedy that's within this is universal. Like, I think if you just enjoy dark comedy, then you're going to laugh along at the right moments or find it humorous in a messed up way. There is some of the characters are just outstanding. There's one played by Rachel Sennett, and she is like, she's stupid and she's not all at the same time. And it was like, oh my gosh, I love you because you're all over the place. And it just fits. Pete Davidson, who I'm not normally a fan of.
I'm not a fan of Pete Davidson at all. So.
He gets a monologue that you're like, whoa, oh, ouch. Okay. So there's a little bit of good social commentary within here. It's not, I don't think it's beating you over the head with it or anything like that.
It's not preachy.
No, it wasn't. It was, and it wasn't constant. It was present, but it wasn't like, this is the main point of this.
Was it fun? So did you enjoy it?
I did. We had a surprisingly good time with it. It was just, and I think too, because I had only seen like a teaser trailer, and when I saw the teaser trailer too, I was like, I don't know, teenage angst, early 20s angst.
But because it's A24.
Yeah, I was like, well, that could be a twist to it. You've got these these appearingly rich kids with their rich kid problems, which that's not very relatable, to a lot of people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they're complaining because they've run out of champagne or something. What?
Who cares?
But yeah, exactly. But the story is twisty and like a lot of fun. I think that's really what it comes down to, is that you're watching this horror that's not, I mean, it's definitely, it's got horror elements to it, but the murder mystery part of it is more of the big thing, because it's like a who's doing this, what's causing this, is there somebody else that could be, there's all of these questions that are raised throughout it, and all of this doubt that keeps coming into play. And the story, I think, holds it really well until the final reveal. And so it's
nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, I'm hoping it's good. It sounds a little bit like Original Sin, actually. So.
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, in movie format.
Yeah.
So, and it's short enough too. I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 45 minutes, something like that. So
nice. Attention span. Yeah.
It doesn't outstay its welcome by any means, because it's tight in the storytelling. Like, there's not really anything. I mean, if anything, like on some portions you might go, well, that feels a little rushed within that little spit there. But whatever. We're moving on, and it's not crucial to the overall story point. So I think we're good. So
nice. For everybody still listening, thank you. We have an extended talky talk, because it's been a while since we were able to get our words out, but we've done a few Indian reviews as well of late. I just wanted to mention that there's a bunch of new Indian I'm say Indian in the wider sense of it, that there's multiple languages, and I don't know how to say them, and I'll never get them all right, on Amazon Original. Like, one of them is The Rocketary. Like, I know you wanted to see that, Chris.
Is it now on there?
It's now on Amazon Prime, and there's a bunch of others that dropped on there. So if you're looking for a Bollywood or a Hindi or Telugu I think their new content and like new stuff. It's just dropped in there,
Nice.
so that's just a nice little quiver in the Amazon package.
Netflix also has added a bunch.
I noticed that
of their content as well. So I think with some of the recent successes of the Indian cinema, like being more mainstream or more widely released, both Netflix and Amazon are going, ooh, okay, well, there's really a worldwide audience. Why wouldn't we allow this to be shown for everybody else? And so
the biggest YouTube channel,
exciting.
other than individual, is the Indian channel that they host something. Yeah, like over 100 million subscribers or something. So
wow.
Cool. Definitely want to embrace that if you can.
Yeah.
So I think that's everything. I think we could probably speak for another hour of content that we had, but we should probably call it at some point.
Cool. Yep. That's all that really bubbled to the absolute top of my list.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay. Well, hey, we really thank you for sticking around with us. It's great to be back. Ruben and I talking face to face again, after vacations. We hope you've enjoyed this. Like, share, subscribe on our YouTube channels. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday, me, Chris with Movies and Munchies. Don't forget our Patreon opportunity at patreon.com/thebeardedones. It's also linked in the description for you. But as Ruben said, I think over 40 videos, which that is shocking to me. I didn't realize we had that many. That's insane, but that's awesome as well. So new content there. You can always tweet at us at Best We Watched. We would love to hear from you there. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want more, which this is a really extended version, but each week we give more in our audio only on the podcast. And so you can listen to that wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll link it down in the description below. Rate and review us too on there. That platform is growing, but we would really appreciate that, because any positive thing that you can say or sharing it along definitely helps us and helps it grow, and we appreciate that. Always comment to us in the comments. We love having the conversations. As a side note,
always comment to us. Yeah.
Yes, I love the interaction. I know you like the interaction too. Yeah. I have noticed though that sometimes on the back end, when I reply to something or I love a comment, it's not showing up on the main site. Like I went through as I was looking for, so I was like a week behind or 2 weeks behind, and I'm like, I already liked this. I already commented on this. What? There's none of it showed up. So it's like, YouTube is not being my friend at some points from the back end of things. So I apologize if I have not commented on some of your stuff, because I have meant to. But anyway, there you go. We really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week. See ya.